What's up, guys? Welcome to another cross console hangout. This week, I am joined by the lovely and talented Joe,
Good evening, everybody.
and we are going to talk a little bit about the Battlefield Hardline beta that came out last week after Sony's E3 press conference. We both played it. Joe, I think didn't you do a Joe knows games for it? Yeah, didn't you do a stream of the beta?
Uh, I didn't. I don't. I didn't do any stream of this. I did stream of Destiny.
Okay. Yeah, we'll try and talk about that one next week.
I think Wesley posted some video on Hardline though.
Yeah, he did. I'll put a link in that in the show notes for this. Like I said, we've both played it. We both have our opinions on it. I personally think it's one of the worst ideas EA has done in recent years.
It's it's a little rough. I mean, there were a lot of people playing it, a lot of people enjoying it, but
Yeah, but to me, Hardline, or at least in the beta. Now, I will say this: the last couple of Battlefields have baited pretty badly. I really
yeah,
liked Battlefield 3, but it had a pretty terrible beta.
there are
So,
some things I like about it though.
yeah, I mean, I did like the little zipline gun when I got it to work, but it doesn't feel like it should be a $60 game. Like this should be like $30 add-on for Battlefield 4.
Based on what I played, that's exactly what it was. I mean, there are a few things, a few minor things about it that I thought stood out. You know, the zipline gun, like you were talking, the taser, which that may have even been in Battlefield 4. I can't remember.
I don't think
And
that was Taser before.
okay, and the grappling hook and being able to lean out of cars when you're riding shotgun in a car. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Um, it's just at the end of the day, and then I don't think the theme, to me personally, fits in a Battlefield. Like it doesn't feel like cops versus robbers, like let's say Payday 2 does.
So
Uh,
I think Payday 2 feels a lot more authentic in that respect.
yeah, this is like really you have a team of 16 bank robbers uh, trying to take out this armored truck. You either super overly prepared or one of the worst planners I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Now I do have a feeling that the story might actually end up in this Battlefield Hardline being one of the best in recent games. But with that said, just like every modern first-person shooter, I don't come to it for the single-player story.
Well, and I do like the single player campaign, but the Battlefield games are notoriously terrible for campaign.
Yeah, and that's why I think that that's what you might end up seeing. I mean, it is coming from Visceral Games, they make a good single-player story. I mean, they did the Dead Rising, no, not Dead Rising, Dead Space games. I was just playing. Uh, was just playing the Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 arcade remix hyper edition, whatever it's called, uh, which is an amazing piece of add-on content for that game. Um, but yeah, so I think you'll end up seeing this like reverse with Battlefield Hardline, to where the multiplayer doesn't really bring anything new, but you finally get like a cool single player story.
And if all of the maps are going to be like what's in the beta, you know, it's all going to be cityscape. There's not really any open land.
Yeah,
And Battlefield 4 had cityscapes. I mean, they had open world as well, but you had cityscapes. So that's not really anything new.
and I just like ever since they've, let's see, Frostbite 2 was Battlefield 3, and then they had Frostbite 3 was Battlefield 4 and Hardline.
I believe that's right.
Um, it's like I don't know what happened, but they just couldn't add the right amount of destructibility to the maps. Because like you go back and play like Bad Company and Bad Company 2, I mean you could blow up the whole map just about, you know. I don't know how many times I was in a building and it started collapsing around me. I had to hurry up and run out. And so Battlefield 4 tried to bring that back with the like each level having the one big like destructive thing that'll change the map. But it's still just insane. That's why like I think the big reason why I'm personally super disappointed that Hardline is coming out because I want Bad Company 3.
I think the Bad Company games are a lot better.
Yeah, because they give you that good mix of a fun single player campaign. You know, you actually have these characters that you can relate to in some level, but they actually have personality, unlike what you've seen in the last two Battlefield games. And then they have great multiplayer.
I mean, that's what I was getting at with the Bad Company games. With Bad Company games, there was no safe ground. Every wall was going to get blown up, and you pretty much knew it. So, but that you don't have to worry about that. I mean, there are corner campers all over the place.
Yeah, because I don't know how many times in like Bad Company, if I went to a room and got shot a couple times, and finally was like, you know what, I can't go through that door and kill this guy. So I'm gonna pull my rocket launcher out and just blow up the building that he's in.
Yeah, bring the house down on him.
Yeah, you can't really do that in the last couple bad Battlefields and or Hardline.
Right.
Another thing, I am excited that it's not DICE working on it, and the fact that maybe EA is finally letting DICE go off and do what they've been wanting to do, which is make a new Mirror's Edge and a new Bad. And they've even said recently, hey, we're not done with Bad Company. So maybe the next Battlefield game from DICE will be Bad Company 3.
Who's working on the Star Wars Battlefront?
It's DICE. It's DICE. Okay. Yeah. So we're basically that's going to be Battlefield in space. Which you know what? I'm fine.
I've actually never played any of the other Battlefront games. I wish I had.
They're super fun. I've got, I think it was last Steam sale, I bought Battlefront 2 for like 50 cents or something, you know. So one of those prices where it's like, well, I'm losing money if I don't buy this.
Right.
And they're fun, especially for the time. I don't know how well, like they really don't play that well today. Actually, I don't even think you can play Battlefront 2 now after the GameSpot stuff went down.
Oh yeah.
Because it was using GameSpot servers, and I don't think there was really a big enough audience for them to try and change it. So.
Right. I'm sure somebody will hack something together.
Yeah, because it's one thing that was cool with that, and I do hope to see that maybe they'll do it once we see more footage of Battlefront. I was kind of disappointed that all you saw was more like prototype footage of this E3.
Yeah.
I think it was in the Battlefront games that like you would, if you got like so many kill streaks or whatever, you could respawn as like a hero. And so it would be like if you was the Rebels, it'd be like Luke Skywalker, Yoda, stuff like that. And that was cool. Flipping around as Yoda and stuff, or I think Mace Windu was in one of them as like one of the hero characters that you could randomly spawn as. So I would like to see that brought back into Battlefront 3. That and I would love to see, because back when LucasArts was originally going to do a Battlefront 3, one of the big things they was going to do was this like alternate modes with like what if characters. Yeah. Like one of the characters was this like old Sith Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Ooh.
Yeah, he looked pretty cool. So maybe they'll bring that back. That was actually one thing. I mean, as this turns into Cross-Console Hangout Star Wars Edition, I was disappointed that Force Unleashed 2 didn't follow one of the expansion stories in the first one. The first Force Unleashed had this kind of what if you killed Darth Vader at the end of the game and became the new apprentice, you go to Hoth and you fight Luke Skywalker at the end of it, and you end up turning him, and he becomes your apprentice.
Oh wow!
So I was hoping that Force Unleashed 2 was going to like continue that storyline, and it didn't. It was Force Unleashed 2 was pretty lame.
Yeah.
So yeah, back to Battlefield.
All that said, if the story itself is not just absolutely stellar with Hardline, I'm really not going to spend much time with it.
Yeah, no, and that's why I think overall, like, I'm super disappointed. This just wasn't. I mean, because they did that with Bad Company too. You know, they had that Battlefield Vietnam, which was an amazing add-on for like $20. It added a lot of stuff. Why not just do that with Hardline? I would be more inclined to spend $30 or something on Hardline, and then at the same time, where's my last two map packs for Battlefield 4?
Yeah, and I haven't bought any of the map packs for Battlefield 4 because I'm afraid to play. I mean, you know, I know that it's stable now.
Yeah.
Or it's a lot more stable now, but all the problems they were having up front drove me away from the game. I still have it for the PS4, but I don't have friends that play it that much because, you know, with all the trouble it was having, nobody was buying it.
Yeah, we all, like, when it first came out, I know me, Drew, and a couple other people had bought it just because it was like, it was either that or Call of Duty, and I mean, I bought both, and Call of Duty was terrible.
Yeah.
And so we all went out and bought the premium, and I think I've played the water map pack, whatever the last map pack for Battlefield 4 was, like twice. You know, I actually hopped on it the other day just because I thought that was how you had to download the Battlefield Hardline beta and open a bunch of my battle chest or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And I think that's just, and it's kind of nice to see overall. I think a lot of people are getting tired of these competitive military shooters.
I mean, it's like you said, it could have been an expansion. In fact, it probably, given that they haven't done the last two, it probably should have been an expansion for 4 because they really do nothing super new. I mean, it's,
How much longer do I have?
I don't know.
Yeah, it is, and all this is hard to say. I mean, the game still didn't come out till, I think, probably late October. Usually that's what Battlefield is released at, is they try and get ahead of Call of Duty so they can at least have that, like, 2 weeks of being the big shooter game.
Looking at Advanced Warfare, Advanced Warfare is hands down going to crush Hardline.
Oh yeah, I actually, watching that gameplay footage from the Microsoft press conference, it's been a while since I've been like, hey, you know what, this Call of Duty looks kind of cool. And because like there was the one thing, and I think we talked about it last week, talking about the different press conferences, like the grenade. I was like, man, that's cool. And the fact that you have like basically a double jump now because you have that exoskeleton suit. So still waiting to see, because I don't think they've revealed any multiplayer trailers or anything yet. That's usually, I think August is usually. It's kind of sad that Call of Duty has gotten to this, like, okay, early May they're going to have the reveal trailer. June we're going to see like 10 minutes of single player gameplay. Then like August-ish you're going to finally see the multiplayer. So that actually, and it's kind of been the opposite the last couple of years. I've liked Battlefield. You know, I just like that bigger thing. But kind of like you said, Battlefield 4 just kind of started leaving a bad taste in my mouth, and Hardline has put a worse taste in my mouth right now. Now, come launch, they could show some more stuff and be like, hey, you know what, man, this looks awesome. I might get it. But as of right now, it's just not that impressive to me. It's not. I haven't had fun with it, and a lot of Battlefield. I should probably get back on the beta and maybe play with a couple of people I know. That actually is when you do have more fun with Battlefield, when it's you and like three other buddies and you're in a squad and you're actually trying to work together. Um, yeah, man. So far, it's just I don't know if it's the theme, the cops and robbers things, or if it's just there really isn't that much new that they've shown right now.
I mean, when they did the trailer for Hardline, I thought it looked pretty interesting. It was like, oh, okay, we're doing something a little new now, you know. And one of the things that they showed that I thought would be really interesting was like a chase scene, but you don't get any of that out of the beta. So
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? They're actually the vehicles have been kind of cool feeling so far. Like I remember I was playing one. I was as the robbers and got in one of the vans and like drove up to the truck, and some of my guys like got in and we was driving off. And so I almost wonder, because all the maps do feel big and kind of open driveways, where if you could potentially in a multiplayer match have this kind of like chase sequence break out to where you've got the stuff and you're trying to get to the area where it says escape, and then you just have like an attack helicopter squad and an attack helicopter coming at you, and another squad and some patrol cars, and maybe somebody's going to try to cut you off in one of the big SWAT vans. I mean, so if there's stuff for that,
that could be cool.
Ooh, almost thought I had to sneeze. Yeah, if that stuff comes out, then that could make it interesting. But right now, and this just goes back to what I said earlier, Battlefield, the last couple have baited terribly. I have left the betas being like, well, they've ruined Battlefield. And then by the time the game comes out, I've read some, reviews and some people talking about like, oh no, the new Battlefield actually looks great. It's fun. It was just a terrible beta. So I'm hoping that's kind of the same with Hardline. I mean, as much as I have gotten tired of Battlefield, I'm not quite to the Call of Duty fatigue yet to where I couldn't get excited for another one.
But at the same time, Advanced Warfare has me a little bit revamped. I'm hopeful.
Yeah. Like I am excited for Hardline. I'm even more excited for like next year to see what Treyarch's going to do next. Because I've actually liked the last couple Treyarch games.
When is Sledgehammer doing theirs?
That's this year. That's what. Okay. Yeah, they're. So this year is Sledgehammer, and next year it's Treyarch. The year after will be Infinity Ward. Okay. And they're all on 3-year dev cycles now. So. Well, that's kind of pretty much all I've had wanted to say about Battlefield. I mean, really don't have much because it was just a beta right now. We'll have more as they release more footage and details. If you didn't get a chance to play the beta, I don't think you can still get any codes. I know it's still going on. I know the Destiny Alpha has been extended for at least a day because it's still working today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have to get some more.
Yeah, and like I said, we'll talk about that next week. That I'm kind of digging it so far, what I've seen of it, but it's still, I don't know. It still looks like Bungie made a Bungie game.
Yeah. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
And there is a lot of familiar voices.
Mm-hmm.
In that, and we'll talk more about that next week. So this was kind of a short hangout. We didn't really have much to say about Battlefield. There isn't much out right now, but did want to get some word out about it. Kind of, give some people some ideas of what's coming up. We have video of one of our guys playing Battlefield Hardline. If you want to check that out, I think a lot of times gameplay footage for me personally helps me formulate an opinion over reading a review or stuff, or even hearing guys like us talk about it.
That's why I do the live streams a lot of the time.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'll put in the show notes a link to that video. And I'll put one into your stream, Joe. And then, well, no, I'll wait on that on another thing until we have everything finalized. So with all that said, guys, hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you next week when we talk about Destiny. Good day.
Have a good week.